this quick blog post here. It's about horror fan read and watch statistics. And this is just an example of something that I did when I was actually bored one day, and I was looking at this Facebook group and I was in, and it's a really popular Facebook group. There's already over 60,000 people in it. So it's not that huge. It's not like I'm asking a million people, which would be ideal, but it's a very targeted group. Everyone is into horror. It's not one of those groups where they're just posting a bunch of scantily clad women all the time. Every once in a while you get that, but for the most part they keep it pretty clean and they actually legitimately love horror. So when you're looking at stuff like that and you can find a group like that, that's a great market to ask questions to. Those are your customers. These are people who love the type of thing that you're creating. And I happen to be working primarily with Lovecraftian style horror and cosmic horror right now. But when you look at things and say, hey, I have a group of people, let's ask them some questions, let's see what we can learn, let's see if it's worth my time being here. If it's not worth your time being there, you need to stop, because no matter what you do, if you are writing books and you are trying to make a living writing books, everything you're doing for those books needs to be towards an end goal of generating more sales of those books. So I got 245 people to respond. What does that mean? That means, well, it was posted on this website, posted on Facebook, 245 people saw it and chose to respond. Probably 1,000 or 2,000 people saw it before it was sloshed off the front of the group by everybody else posting tons of stuff. 60,000 people is a lot of people. So, just to make this useful, 4% of the people in the group of us said that they write. So, let's see, 4, 8, 10 people. 10 out of 245 people that loved horror wrote horror. Great. Big thing, the huge takeaway I have from this was a lot of people like discussing horror novels. A lot of people in the group like talking about movies. More so movies than novels. Probably because you can watch a lot more movies than you can novels faster. And movies are easier to talk about usually than books, because we're all seeing the same thing. Whereas in books, we're insinuating some things. We're kind of creating some things with our imagination, especially in horror. Now, 80% of people who are going to be watching horror movies are also going to be reading horror, according to this group. So if you're a hardcore horror fan, you're joining groups, you're joining things. Maybe you're on Reddit, maybe you're on Facebook. You're following all these horror movies and stuff on Twitter. You're probably going to be in part of this 80% that also reads horror. The amount of horror you read, whether you read indie authors or you strictly stick to Stephen King, I don't know. That's not in the question that I asked. It's primarily just, do you read horror? Yes, great. There's a lot of different kinds of horror, so you can kind of break it down that way too if you wanted to, and ask people questions about that. But out of 245 people, 80%. So I know right there that 80% of the people in this group, because you need over 32 people to create a pure statistic, or a true statistic, based on the statistics class I took in college. So, I know this is a real statistic. I know that 4% of the people in there, 4 of the people in there are going to be writing horror. I misread what I actually even wrote here. So, of this group, I know I can create content based on that. So, on my blog, I don't just have to talk about horror books. I can talk about horror movies. What are some really popular horror movies? What's a really good way to get my blog jump-started and go? I chose Cenobites. I wrote a blog post about Cenobites. It did really well. It continues to do really well. It continues to bring in traffic day after day after day. The initial hit was well over 600 hits on my website and a few subscribers. You're going to remember, on your website, how many websites do you go to and how many do you subscribe to? You've got to get a lot of traffic to your blog if you're going to get traffic on your blog to actually get people to sign up or to even get people onto your email list. And the more ways you have to do that, the more traffic you're going to get and the better you can do. And I don't believe in doing things that aren't going to actually contribute to that. So I want to sit down and watch a movie. We watch a horror movie. If I like the horror movie, if it's interesting enough for me to do a quick post, halfway through the movie, open my laptop, start typing it, wait a little while, finish the post. 500 words is all you need for a decent little blog post. A lot of people, they're not going to read a 10-page blog post. You don't need to do a huge synopsis of anything. Think about when you're looking around the internet reading stuff. A lot of people have a short attention span. Hey, This is what you clicked on. This is what's interesting about it. I liked the movie. I didn't like the movie. This is why. Would you, if you like this? Probably. By the way, I have an ebook. By the way, I have an email list. If you sign up and you can get this ebook. That's just using statistics. That's going to these places where they're doing, or they're talking about things that you already like, and your customers are going to like, and it's being there, and it's finding your own statistics. Because there's not a lot of companies that are going around and they're asking, oh, how many people are reading horror versus watching horror? I don't know. But if you're in a place where you can ask those questions, you're in a place where it's easy to do that. I mean, you can do a Twitter poll on this too. You could do a Twitter poll and you could say, hey, how many of you are reading horror? How many people do you watch horror? How many of you do both? And how many of you are writers of horror? You can do that and see how many of your followers respond. You're going to get a lower response, however, than you would on something on Facebook, usually in a Facebook group. Because in a Facebook group, you're not competing with everybody else's stream, you know what I mean? Like, on a Twitter group, you put it up, my Twitter feed, I can refresh that all day, and I have a completely different thing to look at all day. I don't even think I have to put refresh. I just push the little button at the top, and it just refreshes just that feed. But yeah, that's using statistics. That's finding statistics. Go to some Facebook pages, ask some questions. Go on the internet, ask some questions. If you have a blog and you have good traffic, ask some polls on your blog. Ask people questions. See what they're interested in if you want to sell ebooks. If you're writing a bunch of ebooks and you have a bunch of people who are actually following your blog, if you have 1,000 people following your blog and you put out an ebook and you sell nothing but you tell everybody on your blog, ask your bloggers what they want to read. Or ask your followers on there what they want to read. Obviously, they're following you. If you have 1,000 followers on your blog, I assume you're going to be hitting at least 2,000 or 3,000 hits a month of people who want to see your content, just based on the number of times you should be posting and the number of people following your blog. So you ask them questions, or if they're on your email list and they're not buying, send out an email, say, hey, looking to improve my writing, where do you think I could improve it? That's very humble. People like that. That's you asking their opinion. People love to give their opinions. Are you going to get a great response rate? Probably not, but you're going to get responses that are helpful to you. That's really all I wanted to say in this quick little video today. This is going to say Bandicam up here. It says that because I'm using Bandicam for free. I'm cheap sometimes. I should just buy Bandicam. I think it's $5. Put it on my computer a long time ago and used it for a bunch of stuff and never did. Just kind of habit to use it now. My blog is richardklew.wordpress.com. Scroll up right here and shift this over. See right here, I have a free ebook, and apparently I have blog showing up twice because I just did some maintenance on here. I also do author interviews, so if you want to do a free author interview, we can do an interview there. I ask a bunch of questions and we get some answers, and then I post it on my blog. And I will also, if you would like, we can do a video over Skype. But I have my free ebook for a landing page here, and I have art. So you can visit me there. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, or tell me in the comments what you didn't like about it. If you like the video, but there's something that you think that I should have covered or said but I didn't say, or if everything I'm saying is just rubbish, let me know. Conversation creates change. Thank you very much, and you have a great day.